Well, whether the internal pressure would actually make any difference for the Israeli government is a total different point that I would like to discuss with you, Dr. Norhan. But I will go now back, Dr. Osman, and ask you, with the current growingly fragile ceasefire being one of the key issues on the summit's agenda, how do you expect Arab leaders to approach the issue of ensuring the Israeli occupying forces withdrawal from Gaza? And what are the chances of achieving concrete steps in this direction?
Well, Hala, any outcome of this summit cannot be implemented without the survival of the ceasefire agreement in Gaza. If the ceasefire collapses and if the hostilities resume, then of course there will be no talk of any Arab plans to resolve the crisis permanently in Gaza in the foreseeable future. And maybe that's what Netanyahu is aiming for by not complying with the terms of the ceasefire and trying to undercut upcoming summit by stalling the implementation of the ceasefire agreement through basically refusing to engage in negotiations for the second phase of the ceasefire agreement. And also by placing or pushing forward very unrealistic preconditions to base these negotiations upon. And unfortunately, the American mediator, instead of trying to do his job and actually mediate, they are supporting the Israeli narrative by proposing dubious solutions like the prolonging or the extension of the first phase of the ceasefire. The Palestinian resistance has flatly rejected that. Even the Arab powers in the region, Egypt and even Saudi Arabia and other countries, they have said that there needs to be full compliance with the agreement as is, not any other alternatives like the prolonging of the first ceasefire, the first phase. Because what the Israelis aim through trying to extend the first phase is to secure the release of more detainees before they can actually decide to resume this war. I think that we are beyond the point where we can assume that Israel has any good intentions in this calculus. I think they are very underhanded and they seek to actually implement by force the displacement schemes. And the only way they can do this after Egypt and the Arab world flatly rejected Trump's propositions is through furthering and deepening the humanitarian crisis. And they have started already. They have cut all the aid from flowing into Gaza in complete violation of the agreement and in complete violation of international law even.
Yes.
Because it's a crime against humanity.
Yes.
And now they are giving ultimatums. If half of the hostages are not released in 10 days, we will resume hostilities. Of course, this brazen behavior by the Israelis can only be confronted by a firm Arab stance. And I think what the Arab Summit needs to do, in addition to potentially supporting and endorsing the Egyptian reconstruction plan, is also emphasizing that the only way forward is abiding by the ceasefire agreement as is. The first phase has been implemented, no matter how flawedly it has been implemented, yet it has been successfully implemented. So we need to proceed to phase 2 and phase 3 in order to end this war. And I think that the Arabs have many tools that they can use and utilize collectively, and they need to come out today with a very strong resolution that actually outlines their position and their way forward in confronting any further Israeli violations in this regard.